Y'all, episode 4, we are officially back on the mat. And let me just say, this one right here, it was given comeback fire. First of all, shout out to all my Barbie's Battle Bunch that's been rocking with me since episode 1. I see y'all in the comments every single week, y'all. The support is honestly unreal. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Barbie. I'm a former Team Canada high jumper, I'm a believer, I'm a content curator, and I am the host of the Barbie's Battle Bunch live Bible study that we go live Monday to Friday, where we break down the Word of God and we take a look on how it actually applies to everyday life. You already know, if you've been here, you already know what I always say. When you do Bible study, it is only Bible study if you're able to actually see how it's relevant to your everyday life. If you miss that connection, if you cannot make that link, you have not successfully completed Bible study. Welcome to National by Faith, my real life, my real training, and my real faith journey. If you're part of the squad, make sure you drop a sunflower emoji in the comments below, and I will be screenshotting it and tagging it and giving you guys a shout out in my next episode. So make sure you guys go ahead and do so. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button so you never miss an episode. And y'all, subscribe because this is a movement. It is not just a show, it's a revolution, y'all. Okay, so last episode, episode 3, we had my first meet back. Oh, by the way, make sure you guys go ahead and take a look at episode 1, 2, and 3. If you haven't done so, I made it into a cute little playlist called National by Faith, so you're able to just eat your food, maybe do your homework, and have it playing. As I was saying, last episode, episode 3, we had my first meet back, my first competition. I jumped 1.65 m, which is about 5'5" for those that use that system. And that was a season opener, on the lower side in terms of my season openers, but nevertheless, we feel so blessed and so grateful for that height. It was emotional, it was exciting, and honestly, it lit that fire in me. Now it's time to get back to work. This wasn't the day after the meet, but it was my first practice back for high jump specifically since the meet. Early morning, the sun was out, the weather was literally perfect. I remember just feeling on point. The warm-up felt so amazing. I felt bouncy, snappy. I felt very much like I got some rust shaken off, you know? I did my full warm-up and honestly, my body was feeling so ready to see how snappy everything was. Just reactive, definitely alert. You know those days you can tell from just the warm-up that, oh yeah, today is gonna be a good day just from the warm-up itself? That was this practice. What was going on through my head after the meet, going into practice, was that, oh my goodness, I have so much work, there's so much growth there, but wow, it's only up from here. I was really just excited. I was really excited. I knew I'm only gonna get better. If that's what I can give my first meet, I know for a fact this comeback is going to be fire. So I was definitely really excited. I felt like this time doing it with God side by side you feel so much more hope. So much hope, and you're just enjoying the process. You're enjoying this journey. And that's what I've been doing. I've been enjoying this journey a lot more for sure. I felt really relieved after my first meet going into practice, I will say, because I mean, my biggest worry, not that I had any in that terms, but was no heighted. You don't want to no height. No heighting as an athlete, no heighting as a high jumper is, I have very few meets like that, but it's not fun. It's not fun. That means like something's really not clicking. Either it's physical, but mostly it's mental, you know? So the fact that I showed up and I was at least able to put something on the board, I felt relieved, but I also felt confident because 165, this is what I produced on my worst, you know what I mean? Because it's only up from there. I also was able to learn so much, so I felt prepared. I felt focused though, definitely very focused. During warm-up, my body surprised me in terms of it being active and just really responsive, because up until the meet, I did do a bunch of training that just wasn't at the track. It was more like my at-home training I've done. In between that, before I was able to get access to a high jump mat and that facility again, I worked a lot on increase my reaction time a little bit more, and instantly from that warm-up, I can tell that that training definitely clicked. So after we done the warm-up and we did everything we need to do, we went ahead and started on with some more of the technical side. We stayed on the track, specifically like on the curve, in order to practice our approach run. This was strictly technical, working on that line and just trying to get that approach done properly. helps you focus on that angle. If you guys remember my first episode, if you haven't watched it, if you're still this far, if you haven't watched episode 1, remember, go ahead and watch episode 1. But I did talk, one thing I wanted to work on was my angle that I'm taking. That was also something that I highlighted in episode 2. So one way to assure that I took off a 45-degree angle was to do a specific drill. Now, shout out to my coach and my high jump specialist who is currently in California. Shout out to the Sky High and Fly Jump Lab team. That they are a team of high jump specialists where you go ahead and send them your meets, your jumps, and then you get the perfect feedback in terms of what you specifically need to work on, because every single high jumper is built different and the advice is personalized to you. So I was able to get amazing personalized advice and amazing drills, which I was able to implement one of them here. Those drills has been amazing. I've been working on not running parallel, not planting parallel to the bar. So those drill has really definitely helped me just visualize in terms of how that angle looks like. How does this approach felt compared to the pre-meet practice? Well, for me, because I've been in the game for so long and because I work with such a great team, Sky High and Fly Jump Lab, you get this collaboration. So for me, I kind of knew that every practice can't necessarily look the same because you should be targeting different things in terms of what your weakness is. Right now, for that meet, the target is the 45-degree angle, trying to fix that and just fixing just in general my whole body when it does take off. For the meet before that, the practice before the meet, there wasn't much goals. I remember telling myself, it's in episode 1, I just want to see where I'm at, you know what I mean? So every single practice, you just get a little bit more focused, a little bit more sharper. So this practice felt more focused and zeroed in terms of the goal versus my first practice before the meet, which was very much just for vibes or just for vibes. So I really love the way that God was able to give me more clarity and has blessed me. Do I feel like the adjustment clicked? Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like the adjustment click. I felt like the constant click. I definitely felt like there was some improvement from where I started to where I'm at that point. There's still work to be done, but definitely the adjustment did resonate with me. There wasn't necessarily too many aha moments and typically, but it was really just about feeling that motion, how it feels to be in the air in terms of the drills. Once we locked in on the approach, it was time to get back on the mat, and that is actually where it starts to feel more real. We started with some bar works. We did some 0 steps, some 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps, up to 5 steps. So kind of the usual in terms of that, but really working on that angle every time and just working with the bar. I was building it up progressively, and honestly, I felt really dynamic. I was really happy with my attempts and my clearance as well in this practice compared to my first practice, even my meet that I literally just finished. And honestly, I felt dynamic, fast, explosive. Like, oh yeah, this is what high jumpers look like. This is how God made me to be a high jumper. The bar went up through the usual progression. You know, we had the one work at 130, 140, 150, 160. Which jump surprised me the most during these short attempts? I would say I had a few like really nice 3 steps at like 150. I had a lot of my short steps up to like through my 3 steps. Mind you, there was no run up. A lot of my 3 steps approach, I was definitely killing it at like 160 meters, 150 meters, like around there, or the attempts just looked really high. So definitely a lot of my short approach, like there was very few misses, if any for my short approach in terms of my 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. It was just clearance after clearance after clearance, and the bar was just going up so high. So my short approach was really great. It really showed that I really put some effort into the fundamental. And again, these are just really good drills, especially for high jumpers, to get understanding in terms of how your takeoff kind of feels or looks like, or kind of how much effort needs to be put into that stage, to that phase of the high jump. When I started hitting those clearance again, the way it felt just felt so familiar. I felt like my confidence was definitely increasing. I felt like the high jumper I was, but maybe even smarter. So I was excited. I noticed that I really liked the potential I was seeing there when I was giving those clearance on those short approach at those heights, the 150, the 160s, you know. Did anything feel noticeably different compared to the meet? Yes, my reaction time. I was springy, I was light, the sound I was making, my feet were making was completely more in control. I was definitely more in control, more confident, more aware of what I'm trying to do. And my body and my mind were a little bit more in tune, more connected in terms of the execution. So definitely felt like God was just there right by my side every step of the way, sharpening me up. And that's what it is, the journey. You learn. I always try my best to become a student of the sport. So I felt like that. I felt like I was just in the lab, in the jump lab. And eventually we were staring down at 170 again. That's right, the same 170 that I had attempted 3 times and failed at my first meet back. We got to the 170. The 170, we had a lot of solid attempts, I will say, a lot of solid attempts. Some misses here and there for sure, but every misses, every single time, it was getting better and better and better. And definitely every attempt was getting closer and more was being taught and learned every single attempt. But then it happens. The big 170 jump from a 5-step approach. Oh my gosh, I so excited. Like literally, I felt so excited. It felt nice, and not once, but multiple times. Yes, there was a lot of misses, but I'm happy that it started to just click. I felt like my old self, but even better. So I think God really is there letting me know that just keep going. There's no such thing as being too old or just missing, not having enough equipment or not having enough resources. Keep moving, keep it going, be consistent, trust and believe, and trust me, it will happen. You know, God never fails. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. This jump right here was the best jump of the entire practice. Literally such a beautiful jump. The best jump, a nice 5-step 170 jump, the best jump of the entire practice. Clean takeoff, good angle, smooth clearance. It was beautiful. That jump literally reminded me of my Team Canada training days. Like, this is the level I am supposed to be at. And knowing that Nationals is supposed to be coming up in 2 weeks, that was exactly the boost I needed. My immediate reaction after that 170 jump, especially the second one, the first one, I was feeling nice, but I felt like, let me see it again. Let me try it again. This one, this attempt right here, I was so excited. I was like, this is so beautiful. I was so pleased and proud of the fact that my brain was able to comprehend that. And I was just so thankful to God. I was like, oh my gosh, God, this journey is looking fun. It really is a roller coaster. Those things are probably definitely one of the ups, right? It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. Well, life is a roller coaster. You anchor yourself in hope. That's your stability, right? Hope in Jesus. Hope in God. That's where you get that stability and you just trust that promise. Did this jump shift my mindset about Nationals? Absolutely. I was like, okay, all right. That's a nice 170 there for Nationals. Okay. I felt like if I can keep getting better, just keep focusing and just keep learning, keep growing, Nationals could definitely be a really fun experience. Spiritually, that jump just told me that no matter what, trust God. Forget about your insecurities, forget about your fear, your doubts. Like, doubt your doubt, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, trust God. If God has a plan for you, it will come to fruition. You know, as I was jumping, I kept thinking about this one scripture. Hebrews 12, verse 1. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. This practice was that. It wasn't perfect, but it was literally perseverance in motion. Sometimes God brings you back to familiar ground, not to repeat, but to remind you, you still belong here. This mat, this runway, this calling, He is not done. If you've ever gone through something big, like the first meet moment in your life, and maybe it's been a game, maybe you have to show up to your first game or your first business presentation or your first exam, your first day in school, your first day at a job, and then you have to show back up again. You know that first return back is literally everything. It's where confidence is rebuilt. Your runway may not be literal, but maybe it's your business, your faith, your healing, your craft. Don't underestimate the first practice back. So y'all, that was episode 4, back on the mat. It was sunny, it was technical, it was powerful. And yeah, that 170 jump, yo, that one definitely meant something. Don't forget to comment a sunflower emoji if you're part of the Bowel Bunch, and I will screenshot it, tag y'all, give you guys your shout out, your flowers, of course, in the next episode, episode 5. Next episode, we are heading to meet number 2 of the season. I know, so excited. You definitely do not want to miss it, y'all. Make sure if you're new here to subscribe, hit that bell button so you never ever miss another episode, of course. All right, y'all, that's a wrap. We are, from the day this is shot, we are about like 2 weeks away from Nationals. We are currently July 20th, Nationals August 3rd. This is probably my best practice I had this whole entire season back. To God be the glory, national by faith. The comeback is just beginning. Love y'all.